You have the right to be wrong in life. This is a very important thing to know. You have the right to make mistakes. Actually, through mistakes is that we learn. So don't carry the blame of others and pretend that you are useless unless you change completely. Whatever happened, happened. It belonged to the mystery why it happened. And what happened can change. Because as you grow, you will develop different ways of seeing your ways of looking back. So you will realize that whatever you thought it happened, it didn't really happen. It was just your interpretation. So don't let that interpretation make you look for something that is unreal and stop your life from developing and from you to feel the joy of being who you are. Because if you are if you are your worst enemy, okay, you won't find peace, no matter how much introspection you get. Whoever blamed you, whoever told you that you are not worthwhile, that person is wrong. As simple as that. And you have to come to terms to that. I mean, I'm just speaking in general. Of course, I'm not talking to you or to anyone in particular. I'm just saying, grow up. Strike the hammer. Because you're not going to get to peace by rejection. Never. They're incompatible. Peace and rejection are just not compatible. So long as there is a sense of rejection in any form, no matter how subtle it is, you won't be able to be aware of peace. Because you simply won't deserve it. You understand? You will not allow yourself to enjoy the peace because you still believe you don't deserve it. So you have to come to terms with your innocence. You have to come to terms with the fact that you don't know the way and that you didn't know the way before. It's very important. These things, many times I talk about this in retreats because I can see a lot of that many times. The subject, I mean, what is the impediment for you to have a direct scene of your own freedom? The impediment is just this feeling of restlessness in which you are having a very strong commitment to a particular change in yourself that you have to achieve before any other pleasure to come. You don't allow yourself to be happy or to be free or to be complete. And that has more weight than direct awareness of who you are. You see? And this is something I call your attention to because you will never really see the greatness of your own self so long as you're buying the story of your inadequacy. Because then what happens a lot is that spirituality becomes a bridge for you to pass from inadequacy into superiority. And all that what is in the middle is the truth. You know, spirituality is not a bridge to go from inferiority into superiority. It's much deeper than that. And if you are clever, as I know you are, you have to look at this and say, oh, come on, what is driving me? What is driving me so fast to say no to things and to be sure that that this is not, that I didn't get it yet? Why am I so convinced that I'm not present? Why am I so convinced that I'm not free? Why am I so convinced that I'm wrong? Why am I so convinced that there is something that needs to happen with me because this way is just unacceptable, the way I am? Where did that come from? These are things that I really encourage you to think about, because there is nothing wrong with you. You have the right to exist the way you are. And by doing this rejection, you're rejecting the glory of the Creator. You know? You're rejecting nature. So if you reject nature, how can you be an ally to nature? You know what I'm saying? You won't be. You won't be accepted. I mean, God doesn't want people who come to tell him how he should have done. You know? God will become friends of those who appreciate his creation. He's not going to say, okay, look, how did you get in here, you know, telling me how things should have been. I mean, if you get there, it's because you had a moment in Satsang that was very strong, and the focus and the shift happened, and you're face to face with God. But then the moment you open your mouth, you made a mistake, and God sends you back. How did you get here to this space? And you open your mouth and you say that thing. Back to confusion. Get out of here. And then you never forget the experience, because it was a mix of divine awareness, and you knew you never felt any sweetness like that before, and at the same time you were just, the moment you open your mouth, you just said the same rubbish. You know you missed a great opportunity to shut up. So in saying that, I'm in fact encouraging you to take the right track, you see, of inclusion, and to say, who am I really? And is there a peace in me? Is there really freedom? And is it really possible that I can include everything that I am, and everything that I feel, and everything that I know into this? Is it really true that I can actually move forward without changing what I've been trying to change all this time? That's the question, you see? That's the question. That's the question. Is it really forward? Is it possible to move into spirituality, into deeper awareness of God, even though the way I am, you know, in spite of the way I am? Is it really possible that have I always been wrong in thinking that I had to change? What if Satyananda is right? Just for a split of a second. You know? Imagine he was right all the time and I was wrong. Years of listening to him. Imagine if he was right. That means that I was right for a very long time. And that means that you were wrong for a very long time. You know? And that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter to be wrong. It's always something that you can reverse. You know, you can change. You can just open your heart and say, I admit I'm wrong. I was wrong. I've been ignorant. And I want the blessing. The blessing is something that comes in and heals you in your own mistake, you know? And it includes everything of your humanity. That's a blessing. The blessing is not something that will make you better, or the blessing is something that will embrace you as you are. All I'm saying here, I'm here like, you know, fighting the what's the name of this? Like St. George. Hmm? The dragon. I'm here fighting the dragon alone. I'm here fighting the dragon alone. Yeah, and the dragon has many tails and heads, and it's coming around, and I'm just here. It's going to be over soon. I can go back to my cabin. But I had a I don't know if I killed the dragon, but I tell you what, I made some damage.
Gave him a good run for his money.
I gave him a good run for his money, yes, definitely. The dragon is not killed maybe, but is limping. It's going kind of, oh my God, what was that about? But the dragon can rebuild itself very fast, you know, and in no time he will be intact, ruling your own life.
Satyananda,
Yes.
I heard it just like differently this time when you said that God created it. I heard it differently because I've always had the feelings that can't feel this, it's wrong to feel this, and these feelings are okay. But I really heard it when you said that God created all of this, and so it feels now it's like feels okay to include it.
Yes, of course. Welcome. Wow. That's very good. And this is surrendering, you see? This is to surrender. This is to surrender. It feels okay to include it. And this is what I'm trying to say. It might be a wrong calculation, what freedom means. And it might be even more deep and more profound than whatever calculation we had. Because it's much more beautiful the way it is than however we can imagine it. It is much more beautiful because it includes everything. Emancipation and freedom includes all your humanity. And in your ignorance, you were looking for an emancipation that would exclude most of your humanity.
Yes.
And you understand? And that's the difference of what I'm talking about. I mean, and this is why it's more beautiful than your imagination could think of, because it wouldn't have been beautiful even if you succeed in chopping off some humanity bits. It just wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't feel right until your ego gets, you get kind of, oh yes, okay, well, good, I go. But eventually, you will feel cut off, because humanity is also your nature. And you're here to manifest as that. And that's the divine order. So, and that includes all the human condition. So we approach in the West spirituality as a remedy. And this is what I'm trying to say, We in our society, in the modern society, we are very used to throw away what is not working anymore, and we apply for that principle in our bodies, and we apply for that principle in our personalities and in our spirituality. So it's a mistake. you can't chop away things. You know, it's like it's a form of rejection. You know, to God, to the Creator. It's like, how can you believe? You know, how can you achieve God-like nature in you if you reject?